I'm nearly 60 years old and work in a beautiful white office that is unbecoming. This is a subsidiary of a major food conglomerate, handling ingredient procurement and logistics. I quit my job in my 40s to take care of my parents, but after my parents passed away, I started working here as a contractor through an acquaintance. Being under a major corporation may have its glamour, but what's really expected from a contract worker is just organizing documents, reconciling ledgers, and furthermore, managing office supplies and such miscellaneous tasks. It was exactly the right job for an old man like me. Then one day, a manager a bit younger than me called out to me.
Mr. Smith, do you have a moment?
Sir, I've told you before, there's no need to be so formal with your subordinates. What can I help you with?
Old habits die hard. Listen, next week, we have that meeting with the parent company. I'd like you to be there with me.
Me? Really? I just handled the scheduling and wasn't really familiar with the details. But sure enough, next week, a meeting with the parent company, led by the manager, was on the books. Judging by the vibes around the office, it seemed like a pretty important meeting. That's why I couldn't understand why they'd want a mere contract worker like me to attend. You sure they asked for me, manager? Maybe there's some confusion.
No, Mr. Smith. It was a request from the parent company. I checked and they specifically mentioned they wanted you there.
Even the manager looked puzzled, not knowing the exact reason.
Just come along, okay? I just need you to attend.
All right, if you say so. I only have office paperwork, so I'm completely free. I agreed, wondering why. On the day of the meeting, when I checked the attendees from our parent company in advance, lo and behold, the president's daughter, who is the team leader, was set to attend. Her name is Jessica Anderson. If I recall correctly, she's in her mid-30s. In the corporate circle, there were both whispers of her being incredibly skilled, being pegged as the next CEO, and rumors dismissing her as just riding on her dad's coattails. Either way, for a contract worker like me, she's on a totally different level. The fact that someone of my rank was invited to a meeting with such an important figure was, in and of itself, very unusual. The atmosphere in the conference room was tense. After a quick round of greetings, we all took our seats and got down to business.
Our project aims to further expand our company's presence in the Asian market.
Jessica began explaining. It seems this plan was a major project involving the entire corporate group, aimed at expanding our international reach.
So, we'd like your company to explore new sales channels. Here's a list of the necessary requirements, including the budget.
At that word, a subordinate from the parent company began distributing documents. The subsidiary team gave the documents a quick look, their expressions turning sour, and the manager hesitated before speaking up.
I'm sorry, but this seems a bit unreasonable.
The middle class in Asia is our target. We need to reduce unnecessary costs and make it as affordable as possible.
Jessica stated confidently. She then fixed her intimidating gaze on the manager.
As I mentioned at the beginning, this is a project we're all in on, betting the company's future. We need to push through, even if it means making sacrifices.
But there are concerns about quality. Consumers are more discerning these days, sensitive to issues like human rights and labor practices.
As the manager tried to explain, Jessica leaned over the table and threatened in a low voice.
You're our subsidiary, right? Just follow along without making a fuss. And don't forget, I'm the CEO's daughter. One word from my dad and you could be out of a job.
Hearing this, I couldn't help but chuckle out loud. My dry laughter sounded awkward in the tense meeting room. Wow, you really live up to the expectations of a future CEO. Your presence is so commanding. It's like something out of a mob movie. Everyone in the room turned to look at me, and sensing the focus, I offered a superficial apology. Oh, my apologies.
Who the hell are you?
The CEO's daughter, Jessica, looked at me with clear annoyance. Nah, I'm just a lowly contract worker. Please, go on and don't mind me.
This meeting is supposed to be top secret. Why is someone like you here?
Well, I'm not quite sure. I've heard there was a request from your side though. But, I continued. While we're on the subject, let me offer a piece of advice. If you force an unfair deal on a subsidiary just because they are part of the family, the IRS is gonna take notice. That could hurt the whole group, don't you think? Hearing this, her face turned bright red with rage.
What would a low-level guy like you know? Don't you dare belittle this job.
The next moment, my vision turned brown for a split second. Before I realized it, I was dripping with coffee from head to toe. Still trying to grasp what just happened, I blinked in surprise and said, "Phew, I'm glad it was iced coffee." I amusingly thought to myself.
Smith, you okay? Someone get a towel.
The manager quickly offered his handkerchief, while others rushed off to get towels. Jessica still seemed furious, her eyes fixed on me. "You sure got me good." I chuckled, and as I did, the conference room door opened and a new figure entered.
Mr. Smith, what's the meaning of?
Mr. Johnson, it's been a while." Despite my jovial greeting, Mr. Johnson from the parent company paled instantly.
"Are you hurt, sir? Who dared to be so disrespectful?"
"Well, it seems like you've got a spirited team here. Quite commendable." As I glanced at Jessica, she looked puzzled. Mr. Johnson then began to explain to Jessica.
"Jessica, this is Mr. Smith, a wealthy investor. He's been investing significant sums in our company,
What?
excluding financial institutions. He's probably one of our top 3 shareholders."
You're kidding.
Jessica went pale and quickly apologized to me.
I deeply apologize for my behavior. Truly sorry.
Seeing her dramatic shift in demeanor, I couldn't help but chuckle. But it wasn't just her, everyone in the room, save for Mr. Johnson, looked shocked. It wasn't surprising. After all, I had been working incognito. Only Mr. Johnson, who invited me here, and a friend who recommended it, knew of my true status. "Please, don't worry about it. It's not like I earned it myself." I just shrugged. Actually, I lost my parents in my 40s, and I inherited all the wealth from my dad, who was a well-known wealthy man. With that, I too gained substantial wealth to be called a wealthy man. However, I couldn't change my nature of being dedicated to my job. Even with sudden riches, living lavishly wasn't my thing. So I decided to go undercover as a new employee at one of the companies in which I had invested to understand the actual operations from a worker's perspective. In fact, out of all the companies I've infiltrated, I had to back out from several after witnessing some shady dealings. However, when it comes to this food group, there was another story altogether. "Miss Jessica, I've heard about you from your dad. He's quite concerned about your reputation within the company." Seeing the surprised look on her face, I continued to explain. "I've known your dad since college, and he's asked me for many favors over the years. The reason I was invited here today is because he wanted me to gauge your potential as the next CEO, and I must say, you've shown great promise."
My dad did.
Her face turned pale. She had unknowingly spilled coffee on the very person who was assessing her. It's only natural she would be worried about the consequences. Seeing her like this, I tried to comfort her. "From this document, I realized you've planned a serious strategy for this project. Surely, your intellect is fitting for the role of the next CEO. I'll relay this to CEO."
Thank you so much.
Seeing her relieved, I added, "However, you still have a lot to learn as a person. Use this project as an opportunity to hone your leadership skills."
Yes, I will.
With a solemn face, she nodded in acknowledgement. The atmosphere in the room lightened, and the meeting resumed. Later, after successfully wrapping up our negotiations, Jessica quietly confided in me.
To be honest, this is the first time I've been assigned such a big interdepartmental project. I felt pressured to produce results, especially for my dad's sake. I didn't want to be looked down upon by our subsidiaries, which is why I was so rude earlier. I deeply apologize.
She seems to be a sincere and earnest woman at heart. Such pressure must be weighing heavily on Jessica, being slated as the next CEO. I gave her a warm smile. "Don't worry, CEO told me that he wanted this project to succeed when he sent me over. I really believe you'll do a great job." Later, I went out for drinks, invited by Mr. Anderson, a college buddy of mine. Right after we toasted, I vented to him. "That young lady sure has some spirit. Never thought she'd throw coffee at me."
Surprising, right? Don't you think she's quite something?
It seemed like he was amused by his daughter's antics. I just shrugged. It's nice that she's lively, but it's a bit too stimulating for us old folks. Plus, now that my real identity has been revealed, it's uncomfortable at work. How about letting me retire soon?
Come on, for old time's sake, help me out a bit longer. I could even have her report directly to you next time.
That's a tough joke. With that guy's authority as a CEO, he could manipulate just about anything. I shivered a bit. That project, though it had a rough start, seems to be going smoothly now. While subtly supporting Jessica, I'm still grinding away as a contract employee. With the way Mr. Anderson speaks, doesn't seem like I'll be relieved from this role anytime soon. My retirement is probably still a little way off,